The scene outside Woolwich Crown Court in London begins in the early hours of the morning, where a group of protesters has gathered ahead of a scheduled hearing for 6 individuals linked to a pro-Palestinian action. Demonstrators stand in front of the courthouse holding flags, banners and placards, forming a visible presence as court proceedings begin inside. Their gathering reflects ongoing activism in the United Kingdom connected to the war in Gaza and broader concerns over the activities of companies supplying defence technology to Israel. Throughout the morning, the crowd maintains its position on the pavement directly outside the main entrance of Woolwich Crown Court. Wide-angle shots show the demonstrators lining the outer railings, filling the space between the road and the courthouse steps. Many hold Palestinian flags above their heads, while others chant and engage with passers-by. Some protesters move across the front area in small groups, while others remain stationary, forming the backdrop to a day of legal proceedings that has drawn national attention. The hearing taking place inside the courthouse concerns 6 people accused of breaking into an Israeli-based defence firm's facility in South Gloucestershire. The company Elbit Systems UK operates several sites across the country and has been the subject of repeated demonstrations by groups campaigning against British involvement in defence exports linked to Israel. According to the allegations, the group of defendants is tied to Palestine Action, an activist network that has carried out a series of disruptive actions targeting sites linked to defence manufacturing. The incident at the centre of the charges occurred in the early hours of August 6, 2025. According to information provided during earlier procedural stages of the case, the individuals are accused of entering Elbit Systems UK's location near Patchway, a district in South Gloucestershire, using equipment including sledgehammers and whips. The alleged intrusion took place before dawn and resulted in property damage inside the facility. The defendants were later arrested and charged under criminal damage and aggravated trespass provisions, although the specific counts under consideration today are part of the formal judicial process taking place in Woolwich. Outside the court, demonstrators maintain steady activity throughout the morning. Wide shots capture banners being held aloft as protest organisers position themselves near the police cordon officers stand in controlled formation along the perimeter to ensure the entrance to the courthouse remains accessible. The crowd remains vocal but orderly, with participants emphasising their support for the 6 defendants and their broader opposition to the UK's defence industry ties with Israel. The protest features a repeat pattern of banners referencing Gaza, calls for accountability, and slogans opposing the activities of Elbit Systems UK. Throughout the footage, the demonstrators' positioning remains consistent, clustering near the front entrance where the sound of chants echoes against the stone facade of the building. Police officers maintain a visible presence, monitoring the demonstration from behind the metal barriers that line the walkway leading to the courtroom doors. At one point, the camera tracks across the protest from left to right, showing a dense line of banners and flags. The group stretches across the entire width of the frame, with individuals standing shoulder to shoulder as they continue their vocal opposition. The demonstration remains peaceful, with no visible signs of confrontation or disorder in the footage. The presence of uniformed police officers reinforces the controlled atmosphere in an area that frequently hosts high-profile or security-sensitive hearings. As the hearing proceeds inside, the demonstrators keep their attention focused on the court's entrance, awaiting developments from the proceedings. The footage captures a series of consistent wide shots, each showing a similar scene: protesters waving flags, holding signs, and maintaining their stance along the railings. Many appear to have arrived early in the morning and remain in place as the scheduled court session continues. The protest reflects ongoing public scrutiny surrounding the role of defence companies that operate in the UK while supplying equipment used by the Israeli military. Elbit Systems UK has been a frequent target of direct action campaigns, with activists arguing that the company's work contributes to military operations in Gaza. The firm, however, has repeatedly stated that its operations comply fully with UK regulations and export controls, and that its facilities produce technology for the British Armed Forces, as well as other approved clients. Today's hearing is part of the legal process to determine the responsibilities and possible liabilities of the 6 individuals accused in connection with the August incident. In the footage, the camera alternates between wide shots and close-ups. A close-up frame captures a Palestinian flag waving as protesters chant behind it. Another frame shows individual demonstrators raising signs demanding accountability and calling for the end of UK defence collaboration with Israeli companies. The face of the courthouse, visible behind the protesters, provides a static reference point. As the demonstrators continue their activities in the foreground, the protest remains consistent in size throughout the sequence of shots. There is no indication of any escalation or change in behaviour. Police officers appear calm and positioned strategically to manage the flow of people entering or exiting the courthouse. Their presence is most visible in the final portion of the footage, where a group of officers stands in a line near the outer steps as protesters continue chanting behind them. The key issue at the centre of today's court hearing is the alleged break-in at Elbit Systems UK's Patchway site. According to earlier filings, the defendants are accused of bypassing security barriers and entering the facility with tools intended to cause damage. The alleged use of sledgehammers and whips is part of the formal charges now being examined by the court. As with all criminal proceedings, the defendants' legal team will have the opportunity to present their arguments, and the court will determine the appropriate direction for the case based on the evidence presented. Palestine Action, the group associated with the 6 defendants, has made public statements in the past acknowledging its broader campaign to shut down facilities it claims are linked to Israel's military supply chain. The group has carried out actions at multiple sites in England over recent years, often resulting in criminal charges against participants. Today's gathering outside Woolwich Crown Court reflects support for those facing legal consequences, as well as broader political messaging tied to the ongoing conflict in Gaza. The demonstration forms part of a wider pattern of protests in the United Kingdom related to the Israel-Gaza war, where large rallies have taken place in major cities calling for ceasefires, humanitarian access, and greater scrutiny of defence exports. Activists frequently highlight their concerns about the UK's licensing process for defence technology and components. In this case, the specific focus is on the alleged break-in and the legal implications for those involved. The footage continues to document the protest as the morning progresses. Demonstrators stand in clusters, occasionally moving along the pavement but remaining within the designated protest area. Flags remain consistently visible throughout the entire sequence, forming a striking visual presence against the stone walls of the courthouse. The camera captures brief moments where individuals step forward to lead chants, while others record the event on mobile devices. The police presence remains stable, with officers positioned to ensure safe access to the courthouse. They monitor the crowd but do not interact directly with demonstrators in the footage shown. The atmosphere remains peaceful and structured, with clear separation between the protest area and the court entrance. As the hearing continues inside, updates are expected to focus on procedural matters, including the formal presentation of charges, the defendants' pleas, and potential timelines for further hearings or trial preparation. The outcome of today's session will determine whether the case advances toward a full trial or whether additional pre-trial considerations will be scheduled. The footage ends with a wide shot of police officers standing guard as the protest continues behind them. The demonstrators remain in place, signalling their intention to stay until the court session concludes or until further updates emerge. No additional statements or comments are included in the provided material. The footage documents the event as it unfolds outside the court and offers a visual context to the legal proceedings taking place inside. As of the latest moment captured, the hearing is underway, the protest remains peaceful, and the police presence continues to maintain order around Woolwich Crown Court. The situation remains ongoing as the court examines the charges related to the August 2025 incident at Elbit Systems UK's Patchway facility.